Hey guys, so yesterday I had the opportunity to watch the Minecraft movie a few days early, and you guys can watch that entire experience linked down below. I posted it on my main channel. I think the day I'm posting this video, you guys will see that video as well. My family and I, we had such a great time, and if it weren't for you guys supporting me throughout the years, I wouldn't have an opportunity like this. So thank you guys so much. I wanted to take a day to really collect my thoughts so I could give you guys my review of a Minecraft movie. That's what it's called, a Minecraft movie. TLDR, long story short, I would give this movie a solid 7 out of 10, although I felt like there were a few plot holes that I noticed. But spoiler alert, if you guys haven't seen the movie just yet, I advise you to click off and watch this at a later time until you have. But yeah, 7 out of 10. So basically the movie starts you off by introducing the characters from all different walks of life. So we've got Steve, you know, everyone knows who Steve is. Just a normal guy who had a love for the block world. It starts off the movie with Steve as a little kid. He's having a great time, you know, just mining, having a great time, just playing in the world of Minecraft, I guess. He felt like he belonged in that block world because it showed him as a 9-to-5 worker, an office worker. He just eating lunch while working, and like he was turning his food into like a cube. He was like, yes, this is where I truly belong, because it looked like he was pretty miserable in his new life. He's like a middle-aged man at this point, but he wanted to go back to the Minecraft world. So what he did was he found like a cube-shaped orb or something. He got himself back in the Minecraft world because he felt like the real world didn't really fit his lifestyle. But then he got stuck in a weird situation in the Nether, where this evil piglin queen named Malgosha took the cube-shaped orb and put it in her staff for extreme powers. And that immediate moment, that staff that Malgosha, the queen of piglins, was holding, it reminded me of the AVM shorts, the animation versus Minecraft shorts. You guys remember, if you guys have been watching, you know, my reactions over the years, you guys would know that in the AVM short series, they had like a nether staff, or like it was some sort of staff with, you know, if you put a command block or something like that, it would give them divine powers, like godlike powers. And that's what it reminded me of. Malgosha, she wanted to cause the darkening, which kept the Minecraft world at nighttime for 24/7. Basically would allow hostile mobs to roam around the world 24/7. And in order to cause the darkening, you needed that cube-shaped orb, that blue glowing cube-shaped orb. So basically the entire movie was revolved around this cube-shaped orb, right? During that situation, Steve and Malgosha, they got into it. He managed to get the cube-shaped orb, but then he got caught by all the piglins. He was basically done for. He was about to get imprisoned. But he sent off his dog named Dennis into the real world by going into the Nether portal, right? With a cube-shaped orb. That's when the plot hole begins. And we don't know how that cube-shaped orb ended up where it did in the next scene. So then they introduce a new character. His name's Garrett, the garbage man Garrison. And he's played by Jason Momoa. If I forgot to mention, Steve was played by Jack Black, and both exceptional actors, you know. We've got Aquaman and we've got Nacho Libre. So Garrett, back in 1989, you know, he was like one of the most popular gamers in the entire world. But now he's just a loser who runs a video game shop, unfortunately. But he had the opportunity to get his hands on an Atari Cosmos console from 1978. And that would let him, you know, really just relive his days, relive his I guess glory days. And they had like a whole auction to get his hands on this Atari console, because they were selling out like I forgot what, like storage units or something like that. So there was a whole auction that happened, right? And that's where the YouTuber cameos came in, and I was not expecting this. The entire time, Dan TDM and all these other people, they were saying they wouldn't be in the Minecraft movie and all that, but there they were. Dan TDM, Afmao, and I think Shelby Grace. I don't know if it was her or not, because it was like a little blurry in the background, but I think from the red hair, it might have been her. But those were the 3 YouTubers that I really recognized. I guess they were also a part of the auction. I don't know how they didn't win, because I'm pretty sure, you know, these guys are millionaires. I guess they didn't want that Atari Cosmos console as much as Garrett the garbage man Garrison wanted it. Garrett won the auction, right? He got the he got the win. He got the winning bid. And instantly he went straight for the Atari Cosmos, and when he opened up the box, the console wasn't there. Instead, it was the cube-shaped orb, and also something that it's like a crystal that you put the cube-shaped orb in to like allow a portal to open up to go to the Minecraft world. I don't know how that cube-shaped orb ended up in the Atari Cosmos box. If anyone who watched the movie already knows, let me know. But I feel like that's a huge plot hole, because it never even explained how it got there. Like, how did the dog get that cube-shaped orb into that box? I don't know. But there was also a note later on that explains a little bit, but they just never showed how it got there in the first place. So next character, we've got Dawn, who's a realtor who just ended up in this situation, but she added a lot of comedy into the movie. She was played by Danielle Brooks. I've never seen any of her movies before, but apparently she played a big role in the movie called The Color Purple. If anyone has seen that movie, but she also owned a mobile petting zoo. How did she end up in this situation? Well, that introduces the next two characters, Henry and Natalie, who were siblings who didn't get along. I guess they also didn't have any more parents, because they were driving into the town that all the other characters lived in, like Garrett, Dawn. They moved into a city called Chuck something. I forgot what it was called. Okay, I guess because the movie isn't out yet, I can't really get info on it, but I forgot the name of the school that they went to and the city or town that they came from. But it turns out this movie has a 4.2 out of 5 rating, which is really, really good. 90% of the users like this movie. So, and I agree, but there were just like a few parts that I thought it could have been like so much better. They could have made it so much cooler. So the younger brother in the sibling dynamic, his name was Henry. He's a genius. You know, he creates inventions and stuff. He wanted to get a job at the video game shop, which is how Garrett and Henry ended up, you know, getting into contact, and that's how they ended up being together in that situation. We have one more character which I felt like didn't really add much to the story, but I think she was there for more of the comedy bits and just for the older people that, you know, watched the movie Legally Blonde, because Vice Principal Marlene was played by Jennifer Coolidge, and she was like a huge role in Legally Blonde, I guess. And it's a movie from 2001. I don't think I ever watched it, so I didn't know who she was, but she was really funny. I liked the parts that she was in. I just don't think it added much to the story. Eventually, you know, she got engaged to a villager. So now with all the characters introduced and out of the way, I would say that the comedy and bromance really carried the movie. Like the in real life scenes with the villager going into the real world and getting hit by a car that Vice Principal Marlene was driving, and eventually falling in love together, because her whole shtick was like, you know, she just got divorced, and you know, how could anyone divorce her because she's so beautiful and whatnot. And she ended up falling in love with the villager, which I thought it was a really funny thing, and I think a lot of the people in the audience also enjoyed it, because I heard people laughing. And also the bromance aspect of the entire movie between Steve, Jack Black, aka Jack Black, and Garrett, the garbage man Garrison, aka Jason Momoa. They both had like a passion for gaming, and they also were like competing for who was more of a macho man. Just the dynamic between those two, and just like seeing their relationship, like their bromance, their friendship blossom throughout the movie, just gave me like the Rock and Kevin Hart vibes from Jumanji the movie, like the most recent version of the Jumanji movie. I would say that this movie was definitely made for all ages and family, to just enjoy the experience with their kids who enjoy Minecraft. So I guess they had to come at from a perspective where they had to make the movie very easy to understand for anyone who isn't into the game, and just let the comedy just carry the movie, you know? And like I said before, this movie really reminded me of Jumanji, with people from all different walks of life. You know, we had someone working at a video game shop, we had a realtor, who also owned a mobile petting zoo. We had a student. We also had someone who was working in social media marketing. They just ended up together in this situation. And I think, you know, seeing all their friendships just blossom, it was just a really nice touch to the movie. And I don't know if this is considered a plot hole, but after Dennis the Wolf had taken the cube-shaped orb back to the real world, it just like magically appeared in that console box, you know? And I just don't know how it ended up there and how the dog even got there in the first place. And there was also like a note written, and I don't think Steve ever wrote a note. So that's a whole plot hole that was never explained. I also felt like the wolf was going to play like a bigger role in getting the characters to come into the Minecraft world, but that didn't happen at all. It just kind of felt like the dog or the wolf was just popping up in the background occasionally for no reason at all. He was just there. Dennis was just there. It was also weird that Dennis the wolf no longer had a leash later in the movie, and no name tag until Danielle like tamed him with a bone. But I guess that part wasn't supposed to be like game accurate or something. It was just for fun. Because moving into the next point, I really liked the fact that they allowed custom crafting recipes to be done, because Henry, you know, being a genius in school, making a jetpack and all, he crafted like this really cool, like it was like a launcher. It was like a little gun made out of iron. I also really liked that they gave the enemy side Malgosha's right hand piglin to have like a soft-hearted personality, which made the enemies like somewhat likable until he was killed off by her secret weapon, the hog. I know this movie was made for kids and all, but I wish they really pushed hard on the emotions when, spoiler alert, Garrett Garrison died, quote unquote. I think it would have like added more of a shock factor when he actually came back into the scene at such like a peak climax moment, because they didn't like push hard on the emotions, like sell the idea that Garrett actually died. There was like no reactions from the crowd when he showed up again, because it felt like he died in like such a lighthearted way. When the TNTs exploded, they could have at least like done something. I guess they also wanted to not traumatize the people watching the movie, but I just thought it would be so much better when they like pushed really hard on the emotions. But yeah, I love the transition back to when the villager went through to the real world and like fall in love with the vice principal, as just like a funny way, a lighthearted way to just give people a few laughs. Also, in one of the scenes when Vice Principal Marlene and the villager was getting dinner, we had a cameo from Jeb, the developer himself. He was playing the waiter, and I mean, they didn't really have any voice lines. It was just more of a cameo, just to not like get in the way of the storyline, I guess. But it was really cool seeing Jeb in a movie. The scene where the group gets split up between the boys and the girls was really good, because it allowed the characters to like develop in their own way and just like build relationships. That's also when like the whole gas chase scene happened with Elytra Wings. That was really cool. That was like a very action-packed moment, and also like a scene right after that too, where there was like they made good use of like the mine carts. It was like a whole roller coaster experience. I thought it was really cool. I don't want to spoil the entire thing, although I will say I would have enjoyed a little bit more conflict between Garrett and Steve throughout the movie, because technically Garrett was like blackmailing Steve with the cube-shaped orb. He's like, hey, I'm not gonna give you this cube until, you know, you get me some diamonds, because there are some treasures. I just thought that was weird, because Garrett seemed to be like a scaredy cat for the most part of the movie, and then Steve was the polar opposite of him being the veteran of Minecraft, like him having like all these skills and all these abilities to fight. He could have just easily taken him down, right? He could have easily taken Garrett down, but I guess they wanted to play into that like bromance and forming of that friendly relationship over time, so I guess they didn't want to like get into that conflict. Overall, I really liked the movie. I found it really enjoyable, so that's why I'm giving it a solid 7 out of 10, considering the audience that they were like targeting for the movie. So hey, if you guys watched the movie already, let me know down below in the comments what your thoughts were. I really enjoyed it. Saw a bunch of like different touches. I love seeing all the cameos. overall, great movie. Nothing else I can say, really. A lot of people, including myself, were judging this movie hard just based on the trailers, but I'm really glad I gave this movie a chance, especially because of like how big Minecraft has been to my life. It's been a huge part of my life for like maybe over half my life at this point. So, you know, I'm really glad I gave this movie a chance. I'm not gonna lie, the mobs did look really weird, but I feel like they wanted to like lean into that realism look, and they did a great job. I think making them look a little too animated would have added too much of a stark difference between the actual like people playing the characters between the mobs. So I think they chose a really good middle ground in between the mobs and the real life characters. So yeah, solid 7 out of 10. Hope you guys enjoyed my review of the video or the movie. So yeah, I'm giving a Minecraft movie a solid 7 out of 10. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys think of the rating and also what you would rate the movie after you watch it. But anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.